everybody's here today, so technically I don't have to record, but if you want to go back and listen. So we decided that we're going to get rid of our y's, and we need to make this 3 a negative 6. What do I need to multiply 3 by to make it a negative 6? Negative 2. So just like we multiplied by negative 1, but we cheated and just made everything a different sign, we can multiply that whole equation by negative 2. I think I actually have a screen with more room. No. Is this the same? This is the same. Yeah, right? Okay. So, multiply that by negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is? Negative 4x. 2 times negative 3 is? Or 2 times positive 3? Negative 6y. Negative 2 times negative 5 is? Positive or negative? Why is it positive? Negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, so that's my new equation. Take your other equation and write it underneath it. Exactly as it's written. And add them together. And now we're doing exactly what we just did. So we first have to multiply one of the equations to make an opposite. And then we're going to go back to doing how we know how to do it. So watch up here. You can copy down in a minute. Unless you want to work it out yourself, go for it. Okay? This is going to add to 0. So I'm going to add this. Negative 4x plus 5x is? One x. Do I need to write the 1 in front of there? Nope, because I'm sophomores, right? 10 plus negative 8 is 2. Cool. X equals 2. Now what am I going to do? Put it into, I would put it into one of the original equations. I wouldn't put it into the multiplied equation. But you could. You could put it, so you have 3 choices here. The 5x plus 6y equals 8. The 2x plus 3y equals negative 5. Or the negative 4x minus 6y equals 10. Because all of those equations are equivalent to the original problem. Right? And so we are looking for the answer that makes those true. I'm going to use this because they're the lowest numbers. So I like little numbers. I know you guys like little numbers. There's also not really many negatives in there. So I've got my 2x plus 3y equals negative 5. Where's my 2 going to go? Where's this 2 going to go? Replace the x, right? Be careful. A couple of you have experience now putting it in the wrong space, right? You got the wrong answer and you had to rework the problem. So be careful. Make sure that when you're solving these, you bring down your variable and you know what this is equal to so that you put it in the right place. So 2 times 2 plus 3y equals negative 5. Now, really, really, really good solving technique from chapter 2, please. So right now we're going down PEMDAS and then we're going to go up PEMDAS because we first have to get rid of this multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 3y equals negative 5. What do I have to do with my 4 now? Minus it on both sides. Why do I have to minus my 4 and not take care of my 3? Because it has a variable. We do the variables last. Right? Do the variables last. So this will add to 0. I get 3y equals, what's negative 5 plus negative 4? I'm going to divide by 3. Y is equal to negative 3. My answer is? Way to go. Negative 3.
I did the other one.
You used the other equation, but got the same answer? Yeah. Fantastic. That means you did good algebra. I'm proud of you.
I'm a hard one.
Yeah, I am. Good? Should we do another example?
No.
When you go back and please.
Sure, especially since I told you to just watch and then copy.
I didn't do that. I was doing my own work.
A little bit, sure.
I was doing my own.
I don't want you to do that, Jay. Not when we're doing notes.
I got the same answer as you.
Good? Okay. What are we gonna get rid of in number 2? Are we gonna get rid of X's or Y's? Think, don't shout out. Let everybody else think. Stuart, look at your paper. On number 2, are we gonna get rid of X's or Y's? Don't shout out your answer. Thank you for shouting out your answer when I said don't shout out your answer. I know, but I told you to look at your piece of paper. I said, don't shout out look at your piece of paper, decide what you're gonna get rid of. Don't shout out the answer, but then you shouted out the answer. So X, does everybody agree with him? What do we have to multiply by to get rid of our X's in number 2? 2, negative 2. Way to go, Heavenly. Whoop, whoop. He's killing it. You good, Nana? You good, Nadia? No. All right, so I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by negative 2. Excellent. In number 3, what are you going to get rid of? R or S?
No, R.
R. Doesn't matter.
No.
Would you get rid of either? If you got rid of R, everybody look at number 3 right now. Don't work on number 2. Stop working on number 2 for a second and look at number 3 on your notes. If you got rid of R on number 3, what would you multiply by? Raise your hand if you know the answer. If you get rid of R, what would you multiply by? Raise your hand if you know the answer. I got 3 people who know the answer. 4, 5, 6, 7. Jay, can you do the problem? Can you look at the problem that we're working on? Or talking about number 3. If you got rid of R's, what would you multiply by? Jay, give me an answer there.
I don't know, 2.
If you were, look at problem number 3.
3.
What kind of 3?
Negative.
Negative. If you were getting, now keep looking at that same problem. If you were going to get rid of S's, what would we multiply by? Negative 2. We'd multiply the top equation by negative 2. Do you see that? If we were getting rid of R's, we would multiply the bottom equation by negative 3. It does not matter which one you get rid of. It simply matters that you get rid of one of them. Okay? Okay? I'll do one of those problems in just a second. I want to look at 6, 7, which we're going to do in a second. What do you notice about these? How are these different from the ones we just looked at? How are these different from the ones we just looked at? We can, but on this one, we're going to have to multiply both the equations. So you need to make a decision if you're going to get rid of X's or Y's. Does it matter? I need you all to pay attention. Look at me. All that Stacy. Does it matter? Jay, look at me and listen, please. Don't work on that problem. You're working on a problem. You're not, I need you to look up here. I want you to look up here though. But I want you to look up here. Okay. If I am looking at this problem in 6, 7, does it matter if I get rid of my X's or my Y's? It doesn't. Okay. So if I get rid of my X's or my Y's, it doesn't. If I were going to get rid of my X's, what number would have to be in front of this? In other words, what number do 4 and 3 have in common? 12. Yes. Okay. So we'd multiply multiply this by 3, and we'd multiply this by -4. Write that in your thing. 6, 7. Next 7 notes. We're gonna go back to 6, 6 and finish those. I just wanna talk about this for the people who have to leave at 10 o'clock, so they know what's going on after they leave. Okay? All right. What? What do you mean? You're going to multiply each of these by -4. So this is going to turn into, so when I do this, what am I going to get? 12x plus 3 times 2, 6y. 3 times 8 is 24. So all I'm doing is I'm changing that equation by scaling it up by 2, right? 3, I'm sorry. Then for this equation, what would I get? -4 times 3y is -12y. -4 times 9 is? And now I would add those together, because now I can eliminate my x's, right? So that's what we would do if we wanted to get rid of our x's. What if we wanted to get rid of our y's? So we have 4x plus 2y equals 8, and 3x plus 3y equals 9. If we wanted to get rid of our y's, what am I going to multiply? What number has to be in front of this? What number has to be in front of this? So what number does 2 and 3 have in common? I wouldn't. No, bigger than that. What number can you multiply this by to get to the same number as this? And what number can you multiply this by to get to the same number? What number do 2 and, this was 12, right? 2 and 3 have what? 6 in common. So I'm going to multiply this by 3. And usually what we do is crisscross. Not always though. Sometimes we can multiply by a smaller number. So if I multiply that by 3, I'm going to get what? 12x. 3 times 2 is 6y. 3 times 8 is 24, right? What am I going to multiply this one by? So this is a 6, right? What do I want that to be able to cancel them? -2. Yep. So you're just figuring out what it's got to be the -2 times 3 is -6x, -6y, -18, and then I would add those together. So it doesn't matter which you do. You could do this method and get rid of your y's, or you can do this method and get rid of your x's. But you don't have to do both. I'm just showing you that you can do either one. So if you choose to get rid of your x's, because they're in front for whatever reason, you're going to do this problem. But if you wanted to get rid of your y's because you like smaller numbers, then you would do this problem. So when you're doing your getting rid of, what you're multiplying the outside by, in 6, 7, we have to multiply both of them. In 6, 6, we only have to multiply one of the equations to be able to cancel. So they're kind of just growing on each other, okay? Do you want to do another one in 6, 6? Yes, you did. We'll go back to it. So in 6, what am I gonna get rid of? My x's or my y's? For number 2? X, you decided, right? What do I have to multiply?
3 up the top. And 2 at the top, -5.
6 is already there. Can I make this 3 into a 6?
No, I said, is this 3 at the top or 6, 7?
This is 6. I'm sorry, I went back to 6. I just wanted you guys to have an idea, if you're leaving a different class, what you're gonna miss.
So, what you doing? -6 at the bottom.
You want to have -6 at the bottom, so what do you need to multiply this by to make it -6? Exactly. Okay, so in this one, we only need to multiply by one, we only need to change one equation, because this and this has the same number in common after we do that.
I thought you took the number that you were using. I thought we were using the X sign.
We
So
are,
I thought it was supposed to be -6 at the bottom.
it is, so let's do that. So -6x, right? -2 times -7 gives me what?
So why can't we do -2?
Hold on, Nadia, you'll see in a second. -2 times -7 gives me what? Plus 14y. -2 times -19 gives me what? -2 times -19 gives me what? Positive what? 38. Okay? So then, Nadia, because this is already 6x, I don't have to multiply this by anything. I can just write it down. So this number helped us figure out what we need to multiply this one by. Does everybody see that?
No, I don't think it's.
Don't shut down on me. There's no quitting. No quitting in summer algebra. I'm glad you're not whining. I need those to be 0. You decided that I needed to multiply this by -2 to make sure that those add to 0. I don't have to do anything to this one. I don't have to multiply this one.
I don't even know how you got to do it.
Because I want this to be a -6. So that these will add,
Basically, you just taking the top number, putting it in front of the bottom number.
not necessarily, it might be the bottom
I could
number.
answer,
I mean, it's not necessarily gonna be the top number
I
in the
could
bottom.
answer 3.
Huh?
I could answer 3 for that.
Yes, it is 3.
Oh, all right. I'm on
No.
Oh, good, right.
The answer, you're solving for y. So you're not gonna get 3 for y.
How? Let me listen. How?
What's 14 minus 2?
That's a -14.
No, it's not.
Isn't the 2 negative?
-2 times the -7 gives me a positive 14. Negative times a negative gives me a positive.
Yeah, but
I only multiplied this bottom equation by -2 because I needed these to be the same number, but opposite of each other.
so it's positive. And negative.
You're solving for y. You're the wrong answer. So 14 minus 2 is what? Not -12. I would be. 38 plus 10 is what?
48.
How do I get y by itself? Y is equal to 4. Okay? Now I go back to my original problem. Either one. Let's pick the top one. 6x minus 2y equals 10. I know y is 4, so I'm going to put that in there. 6x minus 2 times 4 equals equals 10. What was the question, Dick? Why do I just, what?
Why do you write it like that? Because you rewrite it all wrong.
I don't know what you mean by that question.
Like, you should just wrote the second problem as how it is. Like, why you have it like this.
If you substitute correctly, you can do that. This helps me remember where I'm putting the 4.
Oh,
So I write this down, because that way I put my 4 in the right spot. Because how many of you guys put your 4 in the wrong spot in the last lesson, right? So that just helps you out a little bit. So then we solve that equation. So we've got 6x minus what? 8 equals 10. What do I have to do to get x by itself? Add the
So
8.
positive 8 on my side,
Yep. I'm always adding at this step, right?
18, and then swap out the.
So
Oh.
6x
Oh.
equals 18, divide by 6, divide by 6, x equals 3. So x equals 3, Jay, but over here we were solving for y, not x. Okay? Does everybody see this? Why did we multiply this by -2? Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you understand that.
I don't know.
Okay?
Now I understand the routine. You walk
Well, you're the one that helped me with this, so I'm not sure what you don't understand.
You made it complicated.
So let's look at number 9.
Number 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
number 3. There is a 9 in number 3.
It's okay, I can use my hands.
I'll put it back up there in a second, okay? All right, number 3, what do I want to get rid of? My R's or my S's? R, okay? If I get rid of my R, this is a 9. How am I going to make this into a, what do I need to make this number into? -9. Okay? Because I need them to be opposites, right? This is a positive 9, I need that to be a -9. What do I need to multiply this whole equation by to make that a -9? -3. So Nadia, I don't understand what you don't understand, because you're doing just fine.
But that's just why you just added 8.
Okay? On the next lesson, on the next lesson, we do add an
The
extra
reason
step.
why I said is because we work like this.
Huh?
The reason why I said is because we went to a different, she had a negative 9, and negative 3 at the top.
She had you do 3, and then change the sign of everything at the end. I just throw that negative in there right away. Because that way, we only are doing math once. I have found that when you guys change the sign of everything, at the end, you sometimes don't change the sign of everything. You change the sign of 2 things or 1 thing. Like often when they're both negatives, or when they're both positive, you'll change those into negatives and then you'll leave that middle one. Kind of like you did on that last lesson, right? Where you changed 2 of them, but you didn't change the middle one. Well, it wasn't just you. It was lots of you, okay? What if I got rid of my S's? What would I multiply by? What if I got rid of my S's? What would I multiply by? And would I multiply the top equation or the bottom equation? Top. Right? Because this is a 2. So here's where Nadia said earlier, I just multiply the bottom equation. Not necessarily. You have to look at what variable you're getting rid of and which one you have to
No,
multiply.
I said we get both.
Oh, if you can help it, you don't want to do both.
You know, I usually like, it would be negative 9 at the bottom and negative 3 positive 3 at the top.
Yeah. Right. So if we can help it, we don't want to do both. We want to be able to just do one. If our numbers if our numbers aren't one of them having the number in common with the other one, then we have to do both, like in lesson 6-7, which we'll get to in a second. Again, okay? So if I'm getting rid of my S's, what am I going to multiply my top equation by, Enrique? What am I going to multiply my top equation by to get rid of my S's? What number has to be in front of that? -2. So I'm gonna multiply this whole equation by -2 so that I can get rid of my s's. It doesn't matter which one you get rid of, r's or s's. What matters is that you multiply the whole equation.
So now you go top because top of the bottom.
Yep. Yep, and that needs to be a -2 for these to add together to be 0. You see that? Okay. If I was getting rid of my r's, they'd have to be 9 and -9. So then I multiply my bottom equation. Doesn't matter which method you use, or it doesn't matter which one you get rid of first. You just have to get rid of one of them. Okay? So sometimes you have a choice. Sometimes it's just easier, like this, I wouldn't be able to get rid of those by just multiplying one of the equations. I would have to multiply this by 7 and this by 2. Right? To get rid of y's. And it's just easier. Less math, less to screw up. Make it easy on yourself. Does this make sense? Let's finish this problem. What do we want to get rid of? S's? Now that we have that -2 there, or do you want to get rid of r's? Raise your hand if you want to get rid of r's. Raise your hand if you want to get rid of s's. We'll get rid of s's. All right. So if I multiply this by -2, what's my new equation going to be? 2 times 9, -2 times 9 is? -18. I've got to multiply everything by my -2. What's my estimate going to be?
-2x.
Yeah. -2 times 13. -2 times 13. -26. And now I'm going to add those together. This way, if I multiply the top equation, I don't have to rewrite it because that bottom equation is there. Just pretend that's not there. So now I'm just looking at this right here and adding those together. Okay? What am I going to get? 3 plus -18 is what? No. So -18. 15r. I don't know why I wrote the 530. This will be 0, right? -4 plus -26. Everybody. -30. What do I have to do to get my r by itself? What am I going to divide by? That'll cancel. So I've got r is equal to -2. Don't lose your negative. Negative divided by positive is negative. Now, what am I going to do with this? Put that into my original equations, one of them. Okay? So, my original equation was 9r plus s equals 13. R is -2. 9 times -2 plus s equals 13, and so on. And for that one, you should get -5. No, I messed something up. Did I mess something up? Oh, look. What kind of 15 would this be? Negative. No, girl. -15. Don't lose your negatives. Because 3 plus -18 is -15. Good thing I have my answer written down so I can check it. Okay? And you should get, for an answer here, you should get 2, because R comes before S in the alphabet, 5. -5. 0. Okay? Questions? questions? Any? Okay, so you're going to do your 6-6 worksheet. Before you leave today, you need to have your 6-6 and your 6-7 worksheet done. Tomorrow, we're gonna review briefly at the beginning of class and take our chapter 6 test. We are done with chapter 6. And then we're gonna start chapter 7. So. Yep.